What's up, guys? Welcome to Magoichi's Finale on Let's Play Basara 3. It's time for Sekigahara once again for the third time. And this is going to be one of the most interesting Sekigahara battles we've seen so far. I really enjoy this particular battle. Just with the arrangement of characters we have around this time, it's going to make for a radically different fight from what we've seen previously. So, again, as I've mentioned before, Sekigahara is going to be very different in the game than it is in the anime. So, in the movie, in the movie The Last Party, I keep getting the two titles confused. In the movie The Last Party, Sekigahara is more so like a giant crater in the ground, almost, where all of the soldiers can kind of just flood into it. And it's where Hideaki Kobayakawa had the massive wok for the hot pot he was going to be serving to all of the soldiers as a peace offering. So in Judge End, however, it's just a massive field with the implication of like a massive like fault or ravine running through the center of it. But after every episode of Judge End, they're always implying, you know, one step closer to Sekigahara, you know, however many days away from Sekigahara, we're slowly getting closer and closer, because it is that finale, that pinnacle fight in the Sengoku conflict, really. So, very interesting setting for a story to be around. But yeah, it's essentially just a big open field, nothing really all that special about it in Judge End. But here in the game, it's like this mountainous crater area that's very ominous and dark, and there's a lot of hills and valleys we have to climb over, so it is pretty much it is a pretty great setting for a fight. So as you can see, it says Sekigahara Ultimate there, so this is going to be a very different laid out stage compared to last time, and we'll have to deal with Hana Tadakatsu shooting lightning at us.
What now?
Ma'am, Mitsunari has come to our camp alone.
Stand aside.
Hello. Something to discuss?
Not discussion. Listen, Magoichi. Do not turn your back on me. If you even dare try. You will be cursed. By me, by Lord Hideyoshi, and Yoshitsune. Is that clear? Cursed for the rest of your miserable life!
What was all that? He certainly had something to prove.
I just noticed the emblem there on Magoichi's little choker thing. Interesting. So I love right here at the beginning how we just drop straight into the center of the action, right in the very center of the map, and just start kicking ass. I managed to group a lot of enemies together right here for this attack. So we are starting off Magoichi's final chapter with a bang. And so, with that cutscene right there, I love how Magoichi is just not even fazed by Mitsunari's anger. And it really just kind of goes to show again what I was saying about this route and how I don't really feel like it is the most appealing route. Also, other gun users, like we're going to be fazed by that. Although it is nice to have something that's difficult to dodge for a change, although if we jump at the right time, as you can see, we can dodge them pretty easily. So, yeah, they really don't do a very good job, I feel like, of making this conflict seem ambiguous. The way that Ieyasu is portrayed, as you're going to see here in the dialogue coming up in this next fight, he's pretty endearing, and the game does a really good job of making him seem like the objectively good person to side with. You know, unlike his historical counterpart, Ieyasu, in the context of Basara, you get lines like this, where you can tell he's very kind and caring and charismatic, and everybody tends to really like him because he's a very just endearing and likable person to follow, whereas Mitsunari is fueled purely by anger and rage and the desire for revenge. So there's not much of an incentive for the average third party to side with Mitsunari unless they hate Ieyasu. which again is why I feel like the whole Yukimura thing is so forced. That being said, that's not a criticism of Mitsunari's character, because I really do like Mitsunari, and I feel like even if his entire cause is strictly based off of revenge and blind anger, that's still not it still doesn't mean his character is poorly written. I think he's actually written quite complex, because he is just acting off his emotions, and that is the character. It's not a flaw to say that he is required to think logically and have a reason for his desire to defeat Ieyasu. And we'll get more into that, later on, of course. So, the enemies we're going to be fighting here, as you can see, are Kotoro, Fuma, and Hojo, Ujimasa Hojo, which I think that's a really good pick. I think Hojo always sides with the Eastern Army no matter what, and so does, what's the other guy's name? We'll see him pretty soon, and I'll remember. But yeah, the people that sided with Ieyasu are pretty much the ones that always side with him, and I think it actually is a pretty interesting combination of characters. As I've said before, though, Kotaro Fuma is very, very dangerous and very fast, so we've got to be very careful about that. We actually managed to dodge his Basara attack there without too much trouble. But he's very fast. He has a lot of he's probably the most powerful and most dangerous ninja character in the series. He behaves a lot different compared to Sasuke or, if I can remember her name. I was about to say Venus, like from Devil Kings. No, Kasuga. Yeah.
You think firearms are unfair?
And every time I say Kasuga, I think of Kasuga from Berserk, which are two different spellings, two different pronunciations, two very different characters. Anyway, so you can see, we're gonna ask what the scouter says about Hana Tadakatsu's power level, and it is not over 9,000. In fact, you can see the bar decreasing over time, so that's the amount of time you have to be concerned about his lightning attacks.
There are none in this world that compare to me. The renowned, the feared, Lord Yoshiaki. And let me tell you something. You should consider yourself lucky for finding me in such a good mood.
Wow, did they actually manage to make Yoshiaki Mogami look ominous? So, yeah, with the setting that this battle takes place in. So Yoshiaki Mogami, that's the other character I was thinking of that is sides with the Eastern Army. So, again, I've already kind of explained who he is and what he does. He's very easy to defeat, although his stages always provide loads of entertainment by being kind of tricky with a lot of gimmicks. But here it's pretty much just going to be a straight fight. So I'm not terribly worried about that. I actually don't know really which faction the marksman units are from. So they may just be a Tokugawa unit, honestly, because I really can't say for sure what other faction uses marksmen like that. So, interesting. Alright, so we climbed up to the top here to take out Hojo. Yoshiaki Mogami can wait. And then Hana Tadakatsu, the way that he shows up is interesting. Like, we'll go over that pretty soon.
Aren't you taking this seriously? Don't you want the Hojo clan to be revived?
Sorry, didn't mean to do that.
Okay, so let's take out Hojo. Again, there's not that many command posts in this map overall, so not really a whole lot of the ability to grant extra stars to the enemy bosses, which is nice. And now we've gotten rid of Kotaro Fuma, we've pretty much gotten rid of the most dangerous enemy we have to worry about, so I'm not really worried about Yoshiaki or Hojo at all. They're pretty weak compared to, when we had to fight against Magoichi and Tsuruhime when we played as Mitsunari. That was going to be a lot more challenging. And then if you think that was bad, just wait to see who we have to fight in the next character, Sekigahara. That was an interesting combination. And that's one of the great things about this game, is just the the potential and the randomness of the matchups you can get. I think that every Musou game should have something like this, where different characters can potentially make alliances and stuff like that depending on your choices. And I guess you could say that Dynasty Warriors has something like that with the Empires mode, but again, never really been much of a fan. So as you can see here, as we continue to shoot Ujimasu with the machine gun, his Basara gauge fills up very fast, so he's probably going to use that any second now. And yeah, we'll just have to deal with that as it comes. He's going to send out weird phantom ghost things of his ancestors, which of course we have to be wary of. That didn't seem like that was all too effective there, Hojo. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I still don't know. I'm pretty sure Hojo is only playable in Basara 2. I'm pretty sure he was in Two Heroes, of course, but he was not playable outside of that as far as I know. Certainly not in Basara 1, and then not here in the later games as well. So, not that I think we'd really care to play as him. Like, he's kind of a joke character, especially if you're familiar with the anime's continuity, where he, Takeda Shingen just walks straight up the walls of his castle on the back of 2 horses simultaneously, and then hands in his ass. And he was never to be seen again in the anime's continuity. He was presumably killed there. So as you can see, I mentioned the lightning attacks earlier. So again, when the bar is red and increasing, he's charging up his attack, and then when it's blue and decreasing, he's actively casting it. So we're going to have to just kind of stick back and wait for the lightning bolts to show up on the ground, that we can dodge them. Similar to a famous lightning bolt dodging minigame that everybody loves. And I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to mention what game it's from. So, and I will, for the record, I will never actually complete that minigame because it's not worth my time to dodge 200 lightning strikes in a row when there's such a great margin for error for it, and the reward is not even all that worth it. So, as I said, I went to a con last weekend. That's why I didn't have any uploads. And now that I'm back, we're going to be uploading again on a regular schedule. I'm going to try to get a couple of Basara videos out this weekend. I didn't have a chance to work on anything last night because I was out working on cosplay stuff with Michelle and another friend. And I had 2 panels at Comic-Con. I had the Type Moon panel, of course, and I had the Fire Emblem panel, which are both uploaded here on YouTube now, as you saw from my upload schedule. And then I didn't see really any Basara cosplayers or any Basara merchandise at this con at all. There was, again, the fandom seems to be incredibly inactive and non-vocal. However, Anime LA or ALA was happening at the exact same time, and I kind of wish I had gone to that, although it would have been much more impractical to go all the way across the country for that when, you know, I could just drive over to Birmingham, essentially. But, there was apparently a Masamune cosplayer there who posted in the Basara fan group on Facebook, which shout-outs to you if you are watching. And we talked for a bit and we hit it off. I actually had a weird dream last night that I was at some con somewhere that I'd never been to before and ran into a Masamune cosplayer and a Mitsunari cosplayer. And I just so happened to have brought my Kotoro cosplay at the time, so that would have been really cool had that actually happened, but it didn't. And my Kotoro cosplay needs a lot of repairs before I can really take advantage of wearing it again. So we're fighting Yoshiaki Mogami here, and as I said before, Yoshiaki Mogami is not terribly strong, and you know, when we can blow him away with a rocket launcher, clearly we can see the evidence of that. But I mentioned before his weapon. So I came to find out the way that his weapon is, the way that his sword is the blade is shaped. How I said it's a bizarre taper that's, it's almost like it's a square-ish shape that's like tapered to a point. So I found out what that is. That actually is a real design for a sword blade. And I don't think that we see that really in a whole lot of Asian blades. There are more European-style blades that have that. But his sword fighting style is definitely this one-handed rapier fencing kind of style. And he's like, I'm so fancy and proper, look at my fencing technique, although it's really not all that effective. But that's the joke, that's the whole thing with Yoshiaki Mogami.
At least I will die with honor.
So we'll just blow him away in a blaze of glory, and now we should have access to take on Ieyasu at last. If the game will hurry up and tell us where he's going to appear.
I have lived and fought through many wars, and witnessed their results. The foulest of all being how they sever the bonds that unite us. It is time I changed that. I stand unarmed to offer a challenge, so that we, from here forth, may never again fight our brothers!
Alright, looks like he's going to be back at the center, where we started. So, again, I cannot overstate enough just how much fun I've had playing as Magoichi. She is pretty much my favorite character to play as in Basara 3, and I hope that I've been able to show off her gameplay efficiently enough to where I've alternated between her different combat abilities, utilized her aerial attacks and her dodge mechanics and all those different things, and really just illustrated how much fun this character is to play as and the gradual progression of her different skills and unlocks over the course of the game. So it's time for the final battle against Ieyasu, and Ieyasu, as I've said before, is very tough. He hits like a truck, as you would expect, and he has those funky charge attacks that he can use where he can sort of slow down his fists and hit you like multiple times per frame, which is really interesting. Like, you can see it in kind of sort of slow motion, the multiple hits happening. So he's using his Basara attack there, which would be absolutely devastating to us if we got caught in it. But thankfully we have such things as using our Basara attack combined with the pistol to sort of air juggle him, and that I can sort of back up and get some distance on him with the machine gun, and when he gets too close like that or tries to use his fists up close, I'll just use the shotgun, the attack that brings the shotgun out, the spinning attack, which is a good way to not only switch away from the machine guns, but also kind of get some damage in on him and cancel out his combo. We're going to see if we can rocket launcher him. Probably not at this range. That's probably a silly idea. Oh, look, our grenades have upgraded. I actually didn't state that, but our grenades upgraded to where now we have 3 grenades we chuck out instead of 2. So a little bit of extra damage from that. Alright, so we need to hurry up and defeat Ieyasu before the Shining Gundam gets here. I don't think we want to get a Shining drill up our ass here, but we run the risk of doing that now that Hanata Takatsu, the strongest warrior in the land, is here. So, again, he's very, very tough, and he's like super powered here as well, with an upgraded weapon and just everything under the sun. So we don't want to mess with him, as we typically don't. So if we defeat Ieyasu, we'll be good. That's all we really have to worry about. So let's use our Basara attack and hopefully get him caught in the crossfire. Tadakatsu took a little bit of damage from that, but nothing really meaningful. But not that it really matters. He knows that his lord has been defeated, and the Western Army stands victorious at last. Alright, Mitsunari, time to pay up. We did our part, now you do yours.
Suppose our work here is done. Where's Mitsunari?
Ma'am, he's over there laughing.
Ah, well. Let us call an end to this pact. Our duty's fulfilled. We should make a quick departure. We are the proud Saika faction! The Red Bell, the symbol of our pact, has now been—
Magoichi!
What do you want now? We fulfilled our contract. Our business is concluded.
No! You misunderstand. This is about our next pact.
What next pact?
There is still much work to be done. I won't take no for an answer.
Are you attempting a compliment?
Yes, fine. Don't make me repeat myself.
It's not so bad, your way of life. A bit harsh. A difficult path, to be sure. We are the proud Saika faction. The red bell rings. The pact we have made will be known to all. We shall aid your cause to the bitter end, until our last light falls! So, this is the path we are to follow.